Lindsay, my beautiful wife, became a stranger overnight. I caught her in a dimly lit restaurant, whispering sweet nothings to another man. The shock was like a knife to my heart. I stood frozen, watching my marriage crumble. Days later, in that hotel room, her tears couldn't wash away the lies. I confronted her lover in the sterile halls of the hospital, fury burning in my eyes. Now, in this lawyer's office, our fate is sealed. This isn't just the end of a marriage, it's the end of everything I believed in. My name's Tyler Clinton. No, I'm no kin to that famous Clinton, though the joke about him isn't lost on me. Guess what? My wife cheated on me. I still can't believe I have to deal with her breaking our marriage vows while saying she wants to stay married. Now I'm sitting on my back porch this cool May night, waiting for her to come home and find out I've given her divorce papers at her work. I kind of know how she'll react, but not really, because I think she's gone crazy. I found out about her cheating 3 weeks ago on April 28th. But let's get back to that later. I chose the back porch because it's private. We got a big yard, 2 acres, so even if we yell, the neighbors probably won't hear. Also, a detective is waiting close by, watching. He's here to keep us safe, in case things get too heated. Lynn, that's my wife, is smart and pretty. We met in grad school in Chicago. I was there for an MBA in medical and health services, and she was training to be a CRNA. That's a nurse who helps put people to sleep before surgery. She had already been working with tiny sick babies for 2 years. That job was tough. But as a CRNA, she could work less and make more money. But Lynn gets bored fast and always looks for something new. Even at a fun music show, she'd be planning our next outing. Anything new caught her eye, like a new app, a new friend, or a new place to eat. During our dating time, I was open about liking new things but wanted a classic kind of marriage. I believed that you could always find something fresh in being with the same person for years, as long as you really tried. She never seemed to disagree. Given her tendency to chase after new things, I asked for a prenup. She wasn't happy, saying it felt like a jab at her. I said it was for both of us, to keep things fair. She agreed, and we signed it. It was simple. Split what we earned together down the middle, but keep what we had before. And if cheating broke us, the cheater would get less. After that, we didn't talk about it much. Then we moved to Des Moines, Iowa, from Chicago. Sounds dull, right? But don't judge too quickly. It's a place with cheap living costs, good jobs, especially in health, a buzzing city center, and lovely neighbors and friends. Yes, winters are cold, but springs and falls are mild. Summer can be hot but not too humid, and nights cool down nicely. And the sweet corn in summer is amazing. Plus, it's where the guy who made Pinterest is from. What's not to like? 8 years in, we had jobs we loved, a great home, and I thought a solid marriage. I say solid because no marriage is perfect. We all have our quirks. For instance, I like the toothpaste tube squeezed from the bottom, and she's more chaotic about it. We had our small fights, like over how soon to wash dishes. She liked them clean each night, but I was okay waiting a few days. Still, we didn't let little stuff get in our way. Instead, we spent a lot of time having fun together. We walked in the evenings and talked a lot on our porch. Quick trips for a weekend away or to see a band in a big city were things we loved. We were close, talking openly about what we liked in bed, thinking we were enjoying it all just fine. Now at 34, we were both thinking about having kids soon. Now you might be wondering about a few things. Could I be bad in bed and not see it? Is Lynn super pretty and getting a lot of attention from others? Are we thinking about having others join us in bed? Did I miss hints that Lynn would want someone else? Did I cheat, so she's looking for revenge? Does she find someone else more attractive than me, or is it something else? Here's what I think. Lynn seems really happy with our time in bed. She seems to enjoy it a lot when we're together. I wasn't with many before her, not a star, but I tried hard and no one complained. Lynn is beautiful, smart, and funny. She's tall, slim, and has a great smile that goes with her green eyes. I think her legs and her behind are the best parts. Men do notice her. Sometimes they even come up to talk. She's never acted like she would say yes to dating. When I think about it, I've hardly ever seen her act flirty. I can't think of any signs that warned me, but maybe I just didn't see them. Guess I got what was coming for not paying more attention. I should have noticed her love for anything new. I've never been close to another woman in more than a friendly hug since we got together. If I'm being honest, he's good-looking, but not the kind to make you stop and stare. He's as tall as me, 6'1", and about the same shape, weighing around 180 pounds. He's fit, but not overly muscular. He has blonde hair and blue eyes. I've only seen him without clothes in a video, and he seemed to be about my size there too, about 7 inches when excited. He's just 28 and has been working in the OR for the last 2 months as part of his medical training. He might be rich one day, but since she makes $100K and I earn twice as much, it's hard to see money, nice cars, or a big house tempting her. It will be years before he makes big money. So you can see I'm puzzled about how things got to this point, but I guess I should tell you what happened over the last 3 weeks. It was the last week of April, and I was away at a conference for medical administrators in Kansas City for 3 days. I was meant to stay 4 days, but the sessions on the last day didn't seem interesting. The week had already been great. On the first day, I met 3 others who had similar jobs in my area. We formed a team and met each night to share ideas. We had a good time, made new friends, traded contacts, and shared some laughs over beers. Late on the 3rd day, I told them I would leave early in the morning. Since the drive was less than 3 hours, I had driven there to avoid the hassle of flying. Interstate 35 is mostly calm, with not much cars around. I spent the drive listening to Dan Carlin's deep dive into WWW. KC has a big WWI museum because of Missouri's one president. Carlin got me ready to see it before my meeting. That's Harry Truman, if you didn't know. Since I drove, I could leave when I wanted. I thought I'd get home to a happy wife on her first day off, so I started early, by 5 a.m. I planned to wake her with Starbucks and maybe a morning cuddle, or the other way around. Didn't matter much to me. But when I got home, Lynn's car was gone. She has a 2018 black Honda Accord and only parks it in the garage when it rains. It was sunny all week. No car meant no Lynn. This puzzled me. We both go to the same gym, so she wasn't out running. She likes to sleep late on her days off, but the house looked too tidy, like she hadn't been there. The bed was made. We only do that on laundry day. And no dinner leftovers in the fridge. I was scratching my head. I tried calling Lynn but got voicemail. Good thing we both use Glimpse, a phone tracking app. I checked, and her phone was near the airport. That's weird. We live near the Harvester golf course because we love golf. The airport is way across town. I started to worry a bit and thought I'd pretend everything was fine if she picked up. Just a casual check-in to see how she was. I thought she'd never check a tracker to see where I was. I waited a bit, then called her again. She picked up, and that's when things started to crumble. "Hi, love," she said, sounding sleepy. "Why are you calling so early on my day off?" "Sorry, Lynn," I said, trying to sound calm. "I miss you and had some time before my morning talk. Just wanted to hear your voice." I could tell she wasn't in our bed from the noises behind her. "It's fine, Ty. I love talking to my man." "Sounds like you're still in bed, so I won't keep you. Just wanted to say I love you and will be back by tomorrow night unless you want me back sooner." "That's sweet, but I have plans to run errands, then dinner with Kim and Sally tonight. We've had these plans for 2 weeks, so can't cancel." She said nothing wrong, but something felt off. "Okay, love, I'll let you go. Hey, can you check if my birthday pen from you is in my nightstand? I can't find it." I lied. It was with me. "Ty, really want to sleep more. Can I check later and call you at lunch?" Not the answer I expected. Normally, she'd check right away. My heart raced, but I kept calm. "Sure, Lynn. Please don't forget to check. Sorry for waking you." "Thanks. I'll call later. Love you." I hung up, unable to say I love you too. I got in my car, hoping for the best but ready for the worst. The drive to the airport is a long one from our place. I made it in half an hour, lucky not to get caught for going too fast. Every time I checked the app, her phone was still. If she looked at hers and saw I was near, we'd have a big fight. But I was sure she was so caught up in whatever or whoever she was with, she'd think I was telling the truth and not bother to check my location. The GPS took me to the Hampton Inn close to DSM. I parked far away in the lot, away from the few cars in front of the hotel. After a bit, I thought Lynn might spot my car, so I moved it next door to the Quality Inn lot. I found a spot where I could watch the Hamptons' front door without her seeing my dark blue Genesis G70. I had no plan. Tears kept coming. Was she cheating? With who and why? Were we losing 8 years of what I thought was a strong bond? Was she tricked, and would she feel sorry if caught? Could there be a simple reason for her lies? If she just wanted a night to treat herself, she'd have picked the downtown Marriott or the Deluxe. But we've got a hot tub and pool at home, plus her massage place is just 10 minutes away and she loves it there. None of it made sense for something not bad. I was upset for about an hour when she came out with Justin Banks. They were holding hands and kissing like they were in love as they left. Damn. This young guy studying to be a doctor was with my wife. I quickly took some pics with my phone when they stopped for a long kiss before getting into his car. I met him 2 months back at a hospital thing. I usually like people and get along fine, but Justin seemed like a jerk. When Lynn made us meet, he squeezed my hand hard like he was trying to show he's the top dog. My dad always told me to look into the other's eyes and give a strong hand, so Lynn's move didn't win me over. Our talk felt fake, and he always had a half smile on. I told Lynn how I felt on our way back home, but she didn't take me seriously. You meet a lot of doctors, Ty. You know they can be full of themselves. Justin's the same. Now, standing in the parking lot, seeing my marriage fall apart, I tried to keep my cool. Should I get a lawyer? Hire a PI? I had to think. A big part of my job is to solve problems, so I made myself calm down and think straight. After a bit, I came up with a plan and decided to take a careful chance. When they left the Hampton, they had no bags with them. It looked like they weren't checking out. Maybe they were going to grab a bite before coming back for more time together. I kept an eye on the Glimpse app, and sure enough, it showed they stopped at a diner about 2 miles away. I had a few minutes to make a move. I went back to the Hampton and walked into the lobby. Luckily, it was empty except for a woman at the front desk. She looked up and smiled as I got close. "Good morning, how can I help you?" I saw her name was Beth and she wore a wedding ring. "Hi Beth, I'm Tyler. I'm in a bit of a spot and I hope you can help me." "Pleased to meet you, Tyler. I'll try my best to help. Are you here to check in early?" "No, Beth," I said, keeping my voice low. "The couple that left about 15 minutes ago. A woman with brown hair and a younger guy with blonde hair. Did you see them?" Her smile faded a bit. "Yes, I did. Is something wrong?" "I'm sorry to say, Beth. The woman's my wife and the guy works with her. I think they're seeing each other behind my back." "Oh, my sir, I'm not sure I can help you with that," she said, a worried look on her face. "Most folks in Iowa are kind and keep to themselves. Beth, I need to peek in the room they got. I won't make trouble or a scene here. I just gotta check something out. I'm not asking for a key, just for someone from cleaning to let me in and keep an eye on me. I'll be quick. I'm really sorry to ask, but seeing your ring, I think you get why I gotta do this." Beth paused, thinking it over. "You seem nice. That couple did seem odd to me, but I usually don't poke my nose in. Still, I get why you're worried. What's the lady's name? She paid when they checked in." "Sure, her name is Lindsay Clinton, probably used an American Express Gold card. I can tell you the number too. Thanks for being careful and understanding." That seemed to do it. Soon enough, the Amex was checked. "Can you call cleaning?" I asked. "No need," she answered. "Thomas," she called out. Thomas, another desk person, came. "Yes, Beth?" "Thomas, I'll be away for about 5 minutes. I'm going up to the 3rd floor. You're in charge till I'm back." Thomas looked real serious. "Yes, ma'am." Beth gave me a wink and we went up. The elevator ride was quiet. It's hard to chat when one might hear bad news soon. We stopped at room 319. Beth used the key. I kind of wished it would flash red and not open. Green, no luck there. I went in. Beth stayed by the door, holding it open. People from Iowa are down to earth. If I was acting crazy, Beth could easily leave. As I looked around, I saw clothes everywhere. A men's shirt and pants, shoes, and a belt on one side of the bed. On the other side, I saw what I didn't want to find. A light blouse I got for Lynn on her last birthday and a short navy skirt, a purple bra and panties set, a Valentine's gift from me. For some reason, I never saw her wear them for me. I picked up the panties and could smell it. I almost threw up. Trying to stay clear-headed, I took some pictures and a video of the room. I'm not a lawyer, but I didn't know a lawyer could say I set this up. Not knowing this, I made a video for about a minute, talking as I recorded. I'm in room 319 at the Des Moines Airport Marriott. It's 9:55 a.m. Thursday, April 28, 2022. This is the room my wife, Lindsay Clinton, booked and paid for with her American Express Gold card. number 555173391845220. Don't ask me why I remember card numbers. I just do. She checked in last night with a med student from her hospital named Justin Banks. From looking and smelling around, it seems my wife and Justin made love last night and this morning. I saw them leave the Hampton about 15 minutes ago. They were kissing and holding each other. I have 2 pictures to prove this. I checked the bathroom but didn't find much. Before leaving, I decided to take the panties with me. At least I could get them tested for DNA. Not that I'd be shocked by what I'd find. Lynn might get in a twist not finding them. As Beth and me got into the lift, I started to lose it. Tears were coming down my face. Beth, a strong woman from Iowa, put her hand on my shoulder and said, "I am very sorry, Mr. Clinton." We got out of the lift into the main hall, and I was about to get out my wallet. "Don't you dare, son," she said in a way that meant no arguing. I smiled, said thanks, and went, "I shouldn't have to say this, but if you run into them, please don't let on I was here." She gave a half smile, winked, and went, "Who are you? Never seen you, never heard of you. How could you say that?" Well, I had hit a dead end in my plan. What now? I know I have said I'm not good with the law, but even the little I know about divorce in the USA told me I might get in a mess if I rushed into divorce, even with a prenup. That's the bad side. The good news was I wasn't due home until late Friday. I had time to think and to plan. Since I was already south of town, I drove 30 miles or so southeast to the little town of Winterset, and in about 40 minutes, I was at Rudy's restaurant on John Wayne Drive. Winterset is where the famous John Wayne was born, and they've even got a little museum for him. I knew this because my dad, who could say lines from any John Wayne film, had taken me and my brother here when we were kids. Sitting in a booth at the back, I saw a quote from his last film on the wall. In The Shootist, Wayne plays an old fighter with cancer who decides to go out fighting rather than let the illness beat him. I won't be wronged, I won't be insulted, and no one lays a hand on me. I don't do these things to others, and I expect the same from them. I'm not as big of a Duke fan as my dad was. I'm more into Clint Eastwood, like the movie The Outlaw Josie Wales. But I found myself laughing and said out loud to no one, "Freaking A right, friend." A waitress coming to my table heard me trying to sound like Wayne. She just shook her head and joked back, "So you want some food, kid?" I ordered coffee and a big meal. Just eating and relaxing made me feel a bit better. As I sat there, I looked up some stuff on my phone about partners who cheat. What I read made it seem like this wasn't just a one-time thing. They said if your wife cheats, it's not likely just once. Looks like it could have been happening for a while, but I had no proof. I knew I had to do something about it. There's no way I can stay with someone who cheats. Even if this was something new, I could maybe forgive. But the trust? That's gone forever. I decided I'd get someone to help me find out the truth. I also knew I needed to talk to someone really smart about money and legal stuff because of the prenup, and I had to get checked for any diseases. Somehow, Justin Banks was going to pay for this. I had a little more than a day to sort things out. After finishing my meal, I left a $50 tip for a $16 breakfast. I wanted to make someone's day a bit better in Des Moines. Before leaving, I texted Lynn, "Sorry, found my pen at the bottom of my bag." She texted back quickly, "Lucky you." I thought about texting back something mean like, "Screw you, you lying cheat." But I didn't. I just sent, "Yep." A couple of hours later, I was sitting in the office of Templeton, Sharp and Schaefer. I had met Templeton once at a help give event and knew he worked in family law. He took my call and heard me out. "I'm sorry to hear that, Mr. Clinton." "Thanks, Mr. Templeton. Call me Tyler, please." "Okay, Tyler. I'm Edward, but you can call me Ed." "Thanks." "Tyler, I'll be straight with you. The law isn't really on your side here. No kids is good, but with no fault, you might need to talk it out or see if you two can fix things before the court decides. If your prenup is tight, you might not lose too much money, but we'll see. I'll send you to my mate Eli Sharp. He's the best at divorce in our team. Let me get you to talk to his helper Diane to set things up." An hour later, I was in his office. Eli Sharp was as sharp as his name. A small guy, just 5'6" inches and maybe 130 pounds, but he was always into swimming, had been since he was a kid. He even set some records in high school back in Indiana. He swam hard for an hour every morning, 6 days a week. You could tell he liked to prove that being small didn't mean you couldn't fight and win. That's how he did his lawyer work, too. He listened to my side of the story, asked a few things to clear things up, then thought of a plan. Are they at the Hampton tonight? I'm not sure. That's okay, I can find out. He picked up his phone. Diane, get Molly on the line. I need to know if Lindsay Clinton has a room at the DSM Hampton Inn, room 319, until tomorrow. He hung up the phone. Molly Baker is the top spy guy here because she did spy stuff in Chicago for 18 years before she left for Des Moines. The crazy stuff she saw there would shock you. So if they're out there tonight, we'll know all about it by tomorrow. He said I should get checked for STDs and was worried about how quick I could get the results. He thought my wife would want to be close to me to hide her steps. I told him I knew some doctors who could help speed things up. The wait of 5 to 10 days might be cut to 2 or 3. I called my friend, Dr. Stan Rosen, to see him early in the morning. Eep also got me a meeting with a money spy and their team for the next day. He gave me a list of what to bring, like our marriage deal before we got married. And, he said, if your wife comes back home tonight, you can't be there or talk to her about this. We'll deal with her when we know more, but that will take at least a week. We might need a few weeks to be sure she's been cheating. It might not help us in court much, but it surely won't hurt. Most judges here don't like cheaters, so keep cool. Be nice, and if she wants to be close, just say you feel sick. Other than that, act normal, okay? So I can't get mad and scare off her boy toy? Right, just like that. Really, can you handle this? Any dumb move will mess us up. I promise, you have my word. Okay then. We shook hands and I left. I like to think I can lock away my hurt, but that's not true. I still had my bags from my trip, so no need to stop by home. I hit up a new gym, paid for the day, and pushed myself hard for about 2 hours till I was beat. After, I took my time in the steam room and then showered before I checked into the Hyatt downtown. First thing, I ordered room service with a bottle of Maker's Mark. I turned my phone off after my second drink and hid it in the closet. I knew drunk me might try to call my cheating wife. I cried, got mad, and cried some more until I crashed. The next day, I woke up at 7 with the worst hangover since college days. I dragged myself to the gym again, taking a long steam while drinking from my Yeti cup filled with ice and Maker's Mark. The hair of the dog trick seemed to work because after a shower, I felt a bit more like a person. I spent the next hour at Starbucks on my laptop, sorting out my finances for the accountant. By 8:30, I was in Rosen's office. I told him everything, and he took my blood himself. I'll get this to the lab fast and keep it hush until it's needed for court, he said. This isn't new for you, is it, Doc? Nope. Been here before? He replied, doing his best John Wayne. Seems everyone around here digs John Wayne. Might have something by end of tomorrow, but could be Monday. I'm pushing the lab as much as I can. All good, thanks, Stan. Back at my office, I met with Lois Montgomery. She dug into my finances, checking everything like it was a car in for a full service. It felt as fun as getting checked by a doctor. After we wrapped up, she let out a big breath and started to wrap it all up. So, Mr. Clinton, I've got some good and some not-so-good news. The prenup does keep 80% of your stuff safe if you split because someone cheated, but splitting the house looks like it'll be half and half. You might not pay her each month for being your ex or for kids, but you might still have to share what you saved up and your future money from work. I'll get all the details sorted and send them to Eli today. I thanked her and went to see Eli Sharp again. He was talking to a woman about middle age named Molly Elkington. She had short brown hair, deep eyes, and a kind smile. Her handshake was strong, and her look made me feel like I had to tell the truth. She had a jacket on her chair and a gun on her belt. Don't mess with her, I thought. After a bit of small talk, we're friendly folks in Iowa, she got straight to it. Mr. Clinton, there's no easy way to say this. Your wife's been close with Justin Banks, a med student. I managed to get some audio and video in their hotel room with help from someone named Beth. She stopped for a bit. Beth says she's got a nice niece in Cedar Bluffs if you're looking someday. I took the videos and made them into clear photos so there's no doubt it's your wife. They went to the hotel at 1 p.m. yesterday and stayed till 6, then left for dinner. They ate at a small Chinese place in West Des Moines, then went back to the hotel at 8. My contact saw them leave at 10, Banks drove off, and your wife went back home, and she's still there. She pushed a big folder my way across the table. Inside, you'll find photos and a flash drive with a video on it. I'm not saying you should look at them, ever, but if you do, make sure you're ready for what you're about to see and hear. I'm really sorry, Mr. Clinton. I can't stand cheaters and the hurt they bring. I also checked you out, and it's clear to me you don't deserve what your wife is doing to you." She and Sharp talked some more about keeping an eye on things for the next few weeks to see any patterns. Then she stood up, put on her jacket, shook my hand, wished me well, and left. Sharp went to his cabinet and got me a shot of strong whiskey to help calm my nerves. I drank it all at once and got ready for our next chat. We went over a lot of things. I updated him on my health tests, and we looked at the money stuff for the divorce that was coming. "What do you really want out of this, Tyler? When all is said and done, what's most important to you?" I thought hard for a bit. I want to be done with her fast. I'll be smart and not rush, but just thinking of being near her makes me sick. I really want you to make sure the prenup is followed. I'm okay splitting the house and some other bits, but I don't want her walking away with a lot of my money. Then I want to keep my head high. I want everyone to know she cheated, not me. No beating around the bush with "we just couldn't work things out." I don't want to mess with the hospital we both work at. I don't see them as part of the problem. But I want people to know we're done because she went behind my back with Justin Banks. Lastly, I want to make Banks pay. Sharp answered each point. First, I think you're okay with the prenup. It looks good to me. Next, we'll make sure people know why you're splitting up. But the court might still want you to try counseling to save the marriage. If your wife doesn't want a divorce, her lawyer will likely push for this. They might just want to delay things, hoping you'll change your mind. As for ruining Banks' career, don't count on it too much. The hospital may let him go if they have rules about how students should act, but don't get your hopes up too high. Tyler, you need to go home soon. Maybe make up a reason to be out this weekend, but you'll have to face it and act like a loving husband soon. If she thinks you know, she might attack first before we're ready. I trust you won't confront Banks. If you're worried you might, I'll have Molly send someone to watch over you. I promised Sharp I'd control myself, even if it hurt. It was early Friday afternoon when I left his office. I sat in my car for half an hour, unsure how to face home without showing anything. Finding no answer, I did the only thing I felt I could. I got back on the highway, heading south to Kansas City. Lynn was waiting for me to come home around 7. After driving for about an hour and a half, I got to a little town called Bethany in Missouri and found a tire shop. A man around 40, wearing a name tag that read Ed, was at the counter. He looked like he didn't want to be there, deep into a sports magazine. "Need help?" "Yeah, I need 4 new tires." Ed let out a big sigh. Guess he'd rather read about football than sell tires, but he followed me outside anyway. "These tires are still good for another 10,000 miles. You don't really need new ones," he said, looking annoyed. He didn't know what annoyed really was. "Look, Ed, I really like taking care of my car. Doesn't matter what it costs. Can you get me new tires or not?" Mumbling to himself, he went back to work on his old computer. "Can't do it today. Tomorrow morning by 10 I can have them here." He used a small calculator. "Total will be $1,455. "Okay," I agreed. "Do it." He gave me a strange look but put the order in. "All right, see you tomorrow morning." Without waiting for my response, he went back to his magazine. I left for the highway and checked into a Super 8 motel for $78 for the night. I lay down on the not-so-comfy bed and called Lynn. "Almost home, babe. Can't wait to see you." She sounded really happy after 2 days without me. "Sorry, Lynn," I lied. "Ran over some stuff on the highway and ruined 2 tires. Stuck in a small town in Missouri called Bethany. They'll have new tires for me tomorrow. Won't be back till the afternoon. You might want to invite Justin over again tonight. Have fun on our bed." Of course, I didn't actually say that last part, but I sure felt like it. "Man, Ty, you good? Nothing smacked the car, did it?" "Nah, I'm all right, but looks like it's Taco Bell for dinner and breakfast. Sorry for being late, Lynn." "It's fine as long as you're safe. I really miss you and was looking forward to seeing you tonight. Guess it'll have to wait. Please drive safe and come back to me as soon as you can." "I'll try, Lynn. I'm sorry, but I'm just beat and still a bit shaken from the tire blowing out. I'm gonna drink these 2 beers I got and go to sleep. I'll see you tomorrow, all right?" "All right, Ty. Love you." "Night, Lynn." I knew at some point I'd have to tell another lie and say, "Love you too," like I meant it. But not tonight. I didn't know if she noticed I didn't say it back, but right then, I didn't care. I went over to the desk and opened up the yellow folder Molly handed me. And there it was. My wife with young Justin Banks in all sorts of ways. She was on top in one pic, another showed them in the classic way, and a third had a close-up of her face, looking like she was really enjoying herself as Justin was behind her while she leaned over the desk. I ran to the bathroom to throw up. After I felt a bit better and cleaned my teeth, I went back and plugged in the thumb drive. There, on the screen, was my wife acting in some cheap, dirty movie. They were pretending to make their time together more exciting. They fell together, resting after what seemed like just the start. He stayed close, catching his breath, then moved off a bit but still touching. She breathed deep, lying close. Wow, that was wild. I love feeling so wild with you. I love it when you make me feel like that. Ty would never treat me badly. What you do makes me wild. Wow, Lynn, you're the top. You dive in and just do it. You look great, but the way you talk and move makes me lose it. I'm glad Ty doesn't have a clue how to make his wife happy. The past 4 months have been wild, babe. I'll be with you anywhere, anytime. You can have me when you want, doctor. I'll need more of your help, for sure. If this were just a movie, maybe it could turn someone on. But seeing my wife like this made me sick. I closed the laptop, lay down on the bed, and felt my world break apart. After an hour of bad feelings, anger started to build. Yes, I was sad. The woman in the video wasn't my Lynn. Her chase for something new had wiped out any love for me. Selfish wasn't enough to describe what I saw. I'd get mad at Justin later, but right now, I was burning with anger at the woman I thought loved me and said she'd stay true. Through our 8 years married and the year we were engaged, I had never thought about being with another woman. I won't say I never looked or thought she's hot about other women. I'm a guy. But I never thought about breaking my promise to Lynn or hurting her by cheating. If she wanted to mess around, she could have said no when I asked her to marry me. I started to think about how upset she was about the prenup. She got mad when I hinted she might not be trustworthy. Then I found out she was just into herself, chasing her own fun. It seemed like she didn't get how much love needs commitment. So yeah, I was crushed when I figured this out. But I was also mad. No way I was letting this go. No way she'd have the last say. The next few weeks would be rough, but to heck with her, I was ready to pretend whatever it took to ditch her fast. And Dr. Justin, her supposed hotshot, he'd feel it too. The next morning, I grabbed some breakfast tacos from a fast food spot. I wasn't kidding when I said I had to eat Taco Bell. 2 coffees helped kill the taste as I went to see my buddy Ed to get 4 new tires. Ed was in a better mood today. He cracked a smile when he saw me. Looked like he realized he could sell off my old tires for some quick cash and keep it from the tax folks. He had a couple of deer heads up on the wall, and there was a photo of him crouching next to a deer he'd shot, bow in hand. Maybe he'd buy himself a fancy new bow with that money. Oddly, that thought cheered me up a bit. By 11:30, I got the new tires on and had no reason to stall going back. On the drive, I started plotting ways to mess with Lynn's mind. The idea of being close to her made me sick, but there was no avoiding getting intimate for the next little while. Unless. I made a pit stop just outside Des Moines before heading home. I pulled into the driveway around 1:30. Lynn's car was there. I walked in and heard Siri playing some soft jazz. It was Norman Brown's Just Chillin' tunes. I walked into the kitchen and saw Lynn moving to the music while washing some dishes. She didn't notice me at first. Time to start Operation Mess with Lynn's head. I crept up behind Lynn and grabbed her tight so she couldn't escape, then started to suck on her neck real hard. She nearly jumped out of her skin. Damn, Ty, you scared the heck out of me. Let me go, you jerk. But I didn't let go. I kept at it, biting her neck. This wasn't like me, but you know what they say. Tough times call for tough actions. I wanted her to have a big mark to show off at work on Monday. Maybe it would make Dr. Banks feel a bit jealous. No way, babe. I've missed you too much. I gotta have you. I kept going. She tried to break free. Stop, Ty. You're gonna leave a mark. Why are you acting so wild? Because I can't get enough of you, I thought to myself as I kept going. Come on, I whispered. Let's go upstairs and have some fun. She tried to resist, but then she started to give in. I got worried she might, but she didn't. Fine, she said, almost mad. So my wild man is back and wants his woman. Go ahead, take me upstairs and do what you want since I'm just here for your fun. I let her go and she stepped back, glaring. Well, what are you waiting for? She was challenging me. Wait, babe. I was taken aback. I thought you missed me. Wanted me to want you. Didn't you say a while ago you wanted more fun things in our bed? Fun and new, yes. Acting like a wild man? No. What the heck, Ty? I bet my neck's all bruised now and I'll be ashamed in the OR on Monday. Now I acted a bit mad, too. Well, I'm sorry, Lynn. You didn't exactly make it clear what new meant. I always treat you soft and with love, so I thought a bit of rough play might be fun for us. If you let me know the rules, I'll make sure to keep them in mind when I try something new, I said. That scared me, Ty. Maybe I overreacted. I'm glad you're back and you want me. Let's go upstairs, she said, brushing past me and touching me lightly. As she walked by, I gave her a strong tap on the backside. Sounds good, but how about I make you smile right here? I started to hold her, but she turned around mad. No, Ty, I'm not an object for you to play with. You're being so rude. I stopped right away, grabbed my bag, and went upstairs. Forget it, Lynn. Sorry for the hickey. Maybe just tell everyone your silly husband went too far and upset you. I had never spoken to Lynn like this. With my back to her and not waiting for an answer, I couldn't see her face. All she said was, whatever. I unpacked, showered, changed, and went back down. Lynn was at the table, texting. She put her phone down and looked up. She was less mad but not happy. I guessed who she was texting. Ty, Forget it, Lynn. I've been away a week, 2 days more than planned. All I thought about was coming back to you, but it seems my way of spicing things up didn't work for you. You were the one who wanted me back so bad. I'm sorry I didn't get how you wanted it to go. Have a good day, I'm going out. I left before she could say anything, but she must have been surprised. Even when we fought, I never yelled or got mean. Sure, we didn't always agree, but we kept it cool and kind. I just left, got in my car, and drove away. I went to the golf place, changed clothes, and hit some balls. Then I tried to fix my bad putting. I guessed with being on my own soon, I'd get to work on my game. But that thought didn't cheer me up much. A few hours later, I was in the locker room enjoying a beer, chatting with some other guys. Tom Harris, a friend who knows a lot about money, was there too. His wife Connie was out of town, so I asked him to grab dinner. We went to the Mulberry Steet Tavern. Their burgers are the best, and we watched the Cardinals-Mets game. For a while, I felt kind of normal, which was nice. We left around 7 p.m., and I checked my phone. Lynn had sent me 6 texts, all about 30 minutes apart, starting an hour after I left. Ty, I'm sorry. Please come home so we can talk. Ty, where are you? Come home. Stop ignoring me, Ty. I know you're seeing these texts. Get home now. WTF, Ty. Fine, but don't say I didn't ask you to come home. I'm not the one being a stubborn jerk. No, I thought, you're just the one who can't be trusted. I didn't text back. Instead, I went to see a movie. Firestarter, it was called, about a girl who could set things on fire with her mind. If only I could take her to Banks' place. The movie ended just before 10, and I went home. I got home and Lynn's car wasn't there. I wasn't too sad, but I guessed she was with her lover. By being with, I mean they were probably sleeping together. I went back to the bar and had a few drinks, then came home at 11:30. Lynn was back. She was in our bed, just had a shower, probably because she was just with someone else. Ty, I can't believe you left and didn't answer my texts. Where did you go? She sounded mad like she was the one hurt. I went to the bar, had dinner with Tom Harris, saw a movie, came home, saw you weren't here, went back to the bar, and then came home again. You? She looked away quick, not looking at me. Nowhere big. Were you with someone? Not really. Bumped into a pal at Grounds for Celebration coffee shop. Who? Does it matter? We need to talk about before. Go on. Ty, I'm sorry I got mad, but you scared me and I got mixed up. You grabbing me wasn't nice. I love you because you're usually kind, and what you did wasn't kind. Lynn, I thought you wanted something new because you said to spice things up. If not that, then what? I did, but I wanted something like a candle dinner or a trip to the beach with hugs and kisses. Sorry, Lynn, but we've done that a lot. Trips, walks, talks by the fire. I'm not sold. It doesn't make sense. Maybe new places. That's not right, Lynn. I remember what we talked about. You can't just change the story. If you've changed your mind, just say it, but don't lie and act like you didn't push me to heat things up. Ty, why are you acting this way? You're taking everything so serious. Maybe I did say that, But how did you think that meant you could bend me over or leave a mark on my neck for all to see? Lynn, do you recall what you had on during our chat? Why? That doesn't matter. It does for this talk. I had been outside working, came in, took a shower, and saw you on the bed. You had on these tiny shorts and a top. I hadn't seen you like that before. You looked so hot, and you said you wanted more excitement. I'm sure we didn't stop for at least an hour after that. So how do I switch from that to slow beach days? Let's ask 10 married guys this story, and if 9 don't agree with me, I'll get you any car you want. That's silly, Ty. No, it's true. When you dress like that and ask for fun, it's not for soft stuff. You're trying to twist the story to win. Ty, you being stuck won't help. How about we drop this and you just come to bed and hold me? Sorry, Lynn. No way. If you don't like what I did, okay, I won't do it again. But don't act like I'm dumb and this is all my fault. You care more about the mark than how I feel. I don't want to hold you now just so you think you've won. Good night, Lynn. And with that, I walked to the guest room. Ty, get back here. I'm not done yelling at you. I kept walking, sure my plan to avoid her had worked. I thought she hadn't figured out I knew about her and Justin Banks. She was too into herself to guess I knew. Our marriage had seen cold days, but Sunday was like ice. We didn't talk or look at each other. It seemed like she wanted to win this silent fight by making me give in. Lynn wore tight workout clothes, looking good, but I didn't want to touch her. I spent the morning out and the afternoon doing yard work. I went to bed early, and she came to the bedroom after me. I won't sleep with you until you say sorry, Ty. That's okay with me, Lynn. I'm fair, so let's take turns in the master bedroom. It's as much mine as yours. Tonight I'm here. If you don't like it, there's the guest room. Tomorrow I'll sleep there. I don't agree to that. Go to the guest room now. Lynn, you don't get to decide everything. We're equals. I'm staying in bed tonight. Do what you want. Bastard, she said, and went to the guest room. The week went on like this. We hardly talked. She tried to annoy me, but I didn't let her. On Monday night, she told me her work friends laughed at her for a love bite. I just shrugged. On Tuesday, Stan Rosen called me to his office. Bad news first. You've got a very mild kind of chlamydia. Odds are you haven't felt sick at all. More than half of men who get this don't. The good thing is it clears up fast with meds, but you'll need a checkup in about 3 months. Any reason I should ask how you got it? Yeah, Stan, from my wife. I'm trusting our secret talk here. I've not been with another lady since a year before Lynn and I decided to get married. Last Thursday, I found out she was with another man. I guess she got it from him, unless there's more I don't know about. I sounded very sad. Man, Tyler, that's tough to hear. I thought you two were happy. I'll give you a common dose of medicine and it should get better quickly. You have to tell Lynn and not make love for a bit to be safe. Not making love is easy now, Stan, but I need to talk to my lawyer before telling Lynn. How bad can this get? It won't kill you, but if you don't treat it, it can cause big health issues for women, like stopping them from having kids. Depending on when Lynn got it, time is important. A few weeks isn't too bad, but the longer it waits, the bigger the risk. Even though you're hurt, you wouldn't want to risk harming someone's health. You're right, Stan. I'd feel terrible if I did that because I was upset. But let me ask, I haven't seen Lynn sick. Does that mean it's still early and she doesn't know she's sick? Could be, could not be. Some women don't get sick, but it still can hurt them a lot. I can't tell you what to do, but waiting more than 2 days to act would be wrong. We shook hands, and he said he'd call in a script for me at a nearby drugstore I don't often go to. I was glad he cared about keeping things quiet for me. An hour later, I sat down in Eli Sharp's office to tell my lawyer everything. He laughed a bit at my sneaky plan, but warned me to not make it too obvious. He got serious when I told him about the STDs. This is a game changer, he said, letting out a sigh. Even for us lawyer types, keeping someone in the dark about a health risk isn't right. I laughed at his joke about lawyers. Given you have 2 days, let's act in 1. I'll talk to some trusted friends and see you here tomorrow at 8 a.m. sharp. Lynn got home late, around 10. Her work ended at 6. If she thought I'd ask where she'd been, she thought wrong. I was watching a show on TV when she came in. She looked in, sighed, and went upstairs without saying anything. Usually she'd sit with me and we'd share popcorn and I'd get her wine. Knowing this was over hit me hard. I couldn't stay with someone who'd hurt me and our marriage this much, but some part of me was sad for what was lost. The next morning, I was in a meeting room at TS&S. Sharp was there, along with PI Molly and a lawyer, Mick Sawyer. We don't like the timing, Ty, but it's time to act. The STDs make things different. Have you thought about how you're going to tell her? Yeah, I've thought about it. I want to keep her guessing until we serve her. What if you guys know about me telling her, but for now she doesn't know where the news came from? All eyes at the table were full of doubt, but they stayed quiet, eager to hear more. What if I send a secret text to her OBGYN saying that one of her patients, Lindsay Clinton, had chlamydia? Shouldn't she, by her doctor promise, have to tell her patient? Later, you guys could say it was me, Molly can see me text, and check the date and time. I was told by my doc to tell her in 2 days, and I did it in less. It might be sneaky, but she'll get the chance to get help. That should be okay in court, right? Silence hung as Molly and Mick waited for Sharp to think it over. After a bit, he talked. Not great, not even good, really. But it's not the worst. It makes you look petty, but not like you did something really bad. With the right judge, it might slide. However, it's not all there. Any judge will want to know who knew what you did and if they tried to stop you. So, Tyler, I'm telling you now, I think this is a bad move. Same here, said Molly. I agree, Mick said with a big grin. You shouldn't do this. And besides, Sharp added, she'll figure out it was you. If it wasn't Banks, then it had to be you. She'll know you knew about her secret. Yeah, but that gives me a day or two to get ready for her. Thanks for the advice, everyone, but I've made up my mind. Once I leave here, I'm getting a throwaway phone and texting Dr. Pamela Connors the message. If that's how it is, I want to see it happen, Molly said. I don't want people saying I just took your word for it and didn't check to make sure. We went over some more things, and then I left. 40 minutes later, I got a burner phone and sent the text to Dr. Pamela Connors. Connors got a weird text from a person who didn't want to say who they were. This was seen by PI Molly Elkington. Dr. Connors, I want to keep my name out of this, but I've heard from a good health source that one of your patients, Mrs. Lindsay Clinton, has chlamydia. Now you know, I trust you'll take care of your patient right away. Thanks. I broke the phone after reading that, and later on my way home I threw it into a pond about 5 miles from my place. No one saw me ignore the do not litter rules in Iowa. As I was getting rid of the phone, Molly was outside Dr. Connor's office when a black car pulled in. Lynn, looking a bit messed up, went inside. 45 minutes later, she came out looking even worse. Molly followed her to a pharmacy where Lynn picked up a prescription. Lynn got home not long after. I was on our porch, watching a replay of the Cardinals beating the Royals 10-0. We were not talking much, so she didn't stop. She just went upstairs. Half an hour later, she came out to the porch, fresh from a shower, and sat down by me with a big sigh. Ty, can we stop fighting and get back to how we were? I don't know, Lynn. How do you think we can stop this fight? Can't we just forget about the whole thing and let it go? I'm not sure that's okay with me, Lynn. Why not, Ty? She looked like she really wanted to know. Maybe finding out she had an STD shook her up a bit. I'm okay with forgiving and moving on, Lynn. I said sorry a lot for getting your spice it up a bit comments wrong, but as far as I can tell, you don't think you did anything to say sorry for. So forgetting it feels like you win, and I lose. I'm not trying to win this, Lynn, but I think we both messed up these past days. You don't see it that way, though. Fine, she said, a bit sharp. I'm sorry. Are we good now? No, Lynn, we're not. We've been pals for nearly 10 years. I can tell when you're not being true. Your words sound right, but the way you say them shows you haven't really changed. Prove me wrong, Lynn. Tell me where you went wrong, and we can get past this. She looked at me, her eyes filled with sadness for just a moment. I thought maybe she'd be honest about how she broke our trust. I never thought she'd really say sorry, not after what I heard on those tapes. But maybe I was wrong. Could I forgive her and try to fix our marriage? To be real, the thought scared me. I didn't need to worry, though. Her eyes couldn't hide her feelings. She was still blaming me. Right then, I knew it was over. You're just so hard-headed, Tyler Adam Clinton. She was mad. I said sorry, and you didn't take it because it wasn't perfect. Well, that's on you if we can't fix this. Well, Lindsay Abbott Simon, I said her full name on purpose. I'm sorry you feel that way. But I can see in your eyes and hear in your voice that you think you did no wrong, and I'm the bad guy. You think I'm too proud and won't say I'm sorry. Okay, If you can find one friend who thinks I'm always too proud and never says sorry, I'll take your side." She got up, mad, and went inside. I let out a big breath. It had been almost a week since I found out she didn't care about our promises or our marriage. The next 2 weeks looked tough. The next day, I had a chat with my boss, Connie Silverton. She was the top boss at a big health place. Hard but fair, and you gotta be to get to where she is. I had to tell her about my mess. I needed her tips and help for the next few days until I could deal with Lynn and our divorce stuff. Connie was all business but kind, too. "I'm real sad for you, Tyler. My parents split when I was 10 and it sucked. But we gotta make sure you can keep doing the great job you do here at Unity. I need to know this isn't going to blow everything up." "Connie, I can't say I'll be great these next weeks, but I really like my job and the people here. I'm hurt, but not out, and I won't let my problems mess up my work. Just need a little easy time, then I'll be all in." "Tyler, I think I get you pretty well, and I trust you're being straight with me. There's a meeting in D.C. next week for hospital money folks. Before, I said no to you going because of the costs. But this time, it's a good move for Unity if you go. It's from Monday to Thursday. I remember you got family on the East Coast, so how about I say yes to the trip and you see your folks over the weekend? You'd have to pay for that part. Deal?" "Boss, I would give you a hug, but I don't want to get hit, and I sure don't want Mike getting the wrong idea." Her husband, Mike, used to be an Army guy. "But just know, I'm really thankful for this, and you won't regret helping me." She gave me a real warm smile then. "I'll get the papers done today, Tyler. If you can last till next Sunday, I'll give you an extra week. Now scoot off and figure out how we're going to sign a new deal with our nurses. Their union folks are tough." I stood and grinned. "Got it, boss. Say if I cut our costs by 5% with the new deal, can we talk bonus?" She looked stern, a sign to go. I just had to hang in there for 3 days before the conference. With some luck, I might only face a couple more days of stress after I got back. I managed to focus for the day, even annoying Jody Meyer, the union lady, by telling her their offer was too low. Let her worry about it over the weekend and next week, I thought. Might make her hurry if her team hears there's no deal close. On my drive home, I called my dad and brother to say I'd be nearby next weekend and wanted to see them. Sorry for the short heads up, but they both said they'd make time. Sharing bad news wasn't easy, but they'd stand by me once they knew all. Before I got home, I rang Eli Sharp, a lawyer. I quickly shared the news, and he saw a chance to catch one or two of Mary's crew snooping on Lynn to get more proof of her cheating. Lynn wasn't home when I got there. Odd for her, but nothing was normal the past week. It was her second day off. Normally we'd have plans, but she could be with Justin or someone else for all I knew. That moment it hit me. Maybe Lynn wasn't just with me. Wow, I mused. What if she's fooling Banks too? Should I tip him off with a no-name text hinting he should watch his gal or risk being the next one hurt? I chose to go for a run instead. I wasn't top at cross-country back in high school, but hitting the road a few times a week for 3 to 5 miles always helped clear my mind. My path led me to the golf course and back, with some tough hills on the way that tested my breath. Today, I pushed myself harder, hoping to tire out enough for a good night's sleep. My world felt like it was falling apart, and survival mode had me always on the move, rarely stopping to really see what my life had become. Running gave me that chance to think. I was down about Lynn's cheat. Just 9 days back, I thought we were in true love. Finding out her promises meant zero broke me. Was part of this on me? I pondered as I tackled the first hill. No marriage mess is one-sided. Maybe I was too caught up in work, not giving her the time or care she needed. As I ran, more thoughts raced. How would Lynn deal with this? Would she own up or try to explain it away? I knew I couldn't stay with her after such a deep cut, but how would I act around her at the hospital? Would seeing her with other guys get to me? Would she leave or stay to prove me wrong? I didn't see her leaving in shame. No, she'd likely stay, trying to show I was dumb for leaving her. Then it hit me. If my mind was this busy, I wasn't pushing hard enough in my run. Halfway uphill, too, I stopped thinking about my soon-to-be ex. All I wanted was air. When I got back, I was wiped out, which was the whole point of running. I cooled off by walking around for 20 minutes, then jumped in the shower. Dressed in my swim shorts, I grabbed a beer and soaked in the hot tub. My legs were sore from the run. Lynn was nowhere to be seen. Later, around 11 p.m., after dinner and 2 episodes of Ted Lasso, I went to bed. Lynn hadn't come home or called or texted. I didn't reach out either. It was the first time we hadn't talked in over 12 hours. My legs were still sore, so I took 2 melatonin and 4 Motrin and slept until 7 a.m. In the morning, Lynn's door was shut, so she must have come home late. I didn't hear anything. I had some coffee and bagels, showered, changed, and went to play golf. It was a beautiful late May day in Des Moines. After playing 18 holes and having lunch with friends, I went home around 3 p.m. Lynn and I hadn't texted or called all day. It felt like a waiting game. She wasn't home when I got back, so I did pretty much the same thing as the night before. Sunday was the same, but I had a flight at 4 p.m. I mowed the lawn and worked in the garden, things I usually did with Lynn. When she showed up around 11 a.m., she just looked at me and went back inside. Done with this, I thought as I grabbed my bags. If she wants to stay away and not talk, fine, but I wasn't going to play her game. I headed to the airport without leaving her a note or sending a text to tell her where I was going or for how long. I guessed she might not even notice I was away for a week. I hoped she did, and I wished she'd bring that jerk Justin over and do stuff with him in our bed so I could call her out even more. On Tuesday, 2 things happened. First, Eli called me. He said Mary's parents already shared lots of new pictures and videos of Lynn and Banks. They were clearly into each other. Then, something unexpected. Lynn finally sent me a text. The chat wasn't friendly. Where are you? DC, WTF? At a hospital CFO meeting Connie wanted me to go to. When were you going to tell me, you jerk? When you came home at a normal time before 1 or 2 in the morning and talked to your husband who'd been waiting since 6 on Friday and Saturday. Where were you those nights? She dodged that question. Ty, I was so worried something had happened to you. I can't believe you'd do this. Why didn't you just text me? I did. You didn't answer. Lie #1. If you texted and I didn't reply, did you call the cops? What? When you were so worried, did you think to call the cops? Oh, well, no, I didn't think to. Still, you're a jerk for not telling me. What about my boss or my dad or my brother or any of our friends? Who did you ask to help find me to make sure I was okay? I asked a bunch of people. Don't make this my fault, Ty. Lie #2. Name them. What? Tell me who you texted or called so I can check. I won't let you insult me like that, you cold-hearted jerk. Well, Lynn, you might think I'm a jerk and heartless, but I don't lie like you. If you really cared about me, you would have sent a message, but you didn't. And you didn't even ask any of our friends, the people we work with, or our family about me. We don't know where you were last Friday or Saturday night. Want to tell me now? Got anything to admit to me, dear wife? You're just too stubborn, Ty. You're driving me crazy, she said. Well, Lynn, looks like you can't tell the truth or own up to what you're doing. So one last thing, forget you. There was no answer from her, just silence. Was she starting to think I knew something? Did she feel bad for what she did? Did she think about if what she was doing was wrong? I noticed I was breathing hard and sweating a lot. I calmed down, took a shower, and went to the conference. The rest of the week was okay, even though my marriage was done and I was really upset. I still met some cool people and learned new things at the conference. The weekend with my dad and brother helped a bit, but it was also hard. They tried to understand, but they hadn't been through what I was going through. My mom had died 3 years ago from a rare sickness. She died holding my dad's hand after 41 years of marriage. My dad knew about being sad, but not about being betrayed like this. He thought Lynn was out of her mind. My brother Elliot had been married for 11 years to a wonderful lady named Mary. They and their 3 kids were doing pretty well, even with some troubles. Mary and Elliot still loved each other a lot and didn't fight much. It looked like my brother was going to have a marriage like my dad's. I was glad for him. We hit some golf balls, watched a Nationals game, and ate good food. It was nice to see my nephews again. Sunday night came too fast. I hugged Dad outside Reagan Airport. He held my face, looked deep into my eyes. I know it's tough, son, but you'll make it through. Lynn turned out to be bad news, but don't give up. Keep going day by day. I'm sure of one thing, the hurt will fade. He gave me one last hug, jumped in his Ford F-150, and drove off to Springfield, Virginia. When I got back to DSM, it was nearly noon. I went to the office to catch up and see if Jody Meyer had moved on our deal. The news was good. Her latest offer was much better than before. The gap was still there, but it was clear her nurses didn't want to strike, and they knew unity would be fair at the table. Before I left, I popped into Connie's office. She gave me that look as if to say, "What now?" I just smiled for a bit. "Well?" "Hey, boss. Just wanted to say thanks for last week. The seminar was worth it, and the family time was what I needed." "Like I care, Tyler. Did you do anything useful today?" "Not much. Just checked the nurse's last offer and wanted to let you know we should have a deal by this week's end. No thanks needed." "Leave my office, Tyler, and only come back when you've got something." I always liked our talks, but today it felt more important. Before I left, I stopped. "Hey, boss." Connie looked up. "What?" "Love you too." I ran out before she could throw her pen at me. Maybe Dad was right. Working with folks you like can really help. It might make the pain go less. I called my lawyer on my way home to see what's up. Soon, Eli Sharp was on the line. "Come to my office at 7 tomorrow, Ty, before you go to work. It's time to act." Lynn did not stop seeing her silly lover this weekend. I won't tell you much, but we got pictures of her dressed up as a schoolgirl at their go-to hotel. The house was dark and quiet when I got in. It felt like Lynn and I were done. We hardly saw each other in the last 3 weeks and hadn't talked nice since before my work trip to Kansas City over 3 weeks ago. I missed her, not the woman she became, but the Lynn I wed. Fun, curious, playful, pretty, and strong. I thought she was my forever. I left my bag, grabbed a beer, and sat outside as the sun went down and the stars came out. I was mad about her cheating, but I still cried. I knew soon I'd have no tears left for her or us. I would not let her lies and cheating slide. If I could, I'd get back at Justin, too. My pride was hurt, but still there. But tonight, I let myself feel sad for what was gone. By 10 p.m., I was very tired, so up to bed I went after a quick shower and fell asleep fast. We were in different beds, so I didn't know when she got home. Maybe right after me or much later. I didn't know and didn't mind. I was out early, around 5:30 a.m., wanting to hit the gym before meeting Silas and the rest at 7. Lynn's car was in the drive and the guest room door was shut. If I got her plan right, she started a 3-day shift. This was good. We wouldn't bump into each other much this week. "Ty, good to see you. Come in and sit," Eli said with a warm welcome. Super Sleuth Molly was there too, and so was one of Silas's helpers, an older lady named Peggy Simons, but everyone called her Peg. Molly gave a friendly hello. Peg offered me coffee. After a bit, we began to talk. Eli went straight to the point. "We need to hand Lynn the papers sometime this week, Ty. Molly has found enough proof that your wife has been unfaithful. Getting more proof won't help us now, and you already owe Molly $6,000, so it's best to thank her and let her go do her detective work elsewhere." He grinned as he said that, showing they were close pals. Molly just gave Eli a playful gesture, stood up to leave. "I hope you sort this out fast and easy, Tyler," she said as we shook hands. I thanked her and said I hoped I wouldn't need her again, but would gladly recommend her to anyone looking. Eli and I thought up some plans on how, when, and where to give Lynn the papers. I hoped it could happen at her job when she and that jerk Justin were together with a lot of people around. Maybe late Thursday, since she'd be off for 3 days after. Eli thought waiting was a bad idea. Waiting means giving her a chance to hear about our plan. "You've kept cool these last weeks, Ty, but you must be near your limit. Let's give her the papers today or tomorrow at the latest." One of Molly's guys was keeping an eye on the hospital, so he'd know the best time to catch her by surprise. I thought this was smart. Last night was the last time I cried over that liar. I was ready to face her for the last time. I thought of my favorite movie by Clint Eastwood, Outlaw Jose Wales, when Jose faces off against 3 foes. "You gonna fight or just stand there?" he says. And then the battle starts. Sharp also dug up an old law that let me sue Justin Banks for breaking up my marriage. Eli didn't think it would go far, but just making it public might make Justin's life tough after he's done with med school. I was all for it. We then decided Eli would let me know when the job was done. I would be at home waiting to talk to Lynn in the back. Sharp wanted to have proof of our talk just in case things went wrong. He had Peg arrange for some spying gear to be placed on my back porch and had one of Molly's guys wait nearby in a car. If Lynn lost it, they could call for help. I couldn't see Lynn going crazy, but then, 4 weeks ago, I wouldn't have believed my wife was cheating with a student. I spent the day negotiating a contract with Jody Meyer. By the afternoon, I was beat, but we had a deal. Neither of us got everything we wanted, so it was probably fair. The nurses got a raise, more overtime, and vacation days, and the hospital got a 5-year deal instead of 3. Even Connie smiled when I gave her the paperwork for the board. I was almost home when my phone beeped. It was a message from Eli Sharp. "Well, how are things today?" asked Ty, trying to keep the mood light. Sharp laughed a bit. "I'm sorry, Ty, I know this is all hard on you. It's not funny, but I have to tell you what Molly did. She went to serve papers to Lynn and Banks. They had just finished a long surgery and were chilling in the staff room with another nurse, the surgeon Alex Greer, and Mike Devlin, the big boss of surgery at Unity Healthcare. Devlin came to watch since he and Greer are old pals from Yale. So Molly walks into the staff room looking all serious, which is enough to scare most people. Banks, who's still learning, didn't like a stranger in their space. He stood up and told her she shouldn't be there. Molly didn't take that well. Molly was like, "Can you believe the nerve of that guy?" So she pushes him down and gets right in his face. She said he looked so scared. She stared him down and said, "Are you the guy cheating on his wife, Justin Banks?" He could barely say yes. She said the room went super quiet. Everyone was watching. Then she turned to Lynn and was a bit kinder, but you could hear the sarcasm. "And are you Lynn Clinton, Tyler's wife?" Lynn whispered yes. Molly told her she knew about her and Mr. Banks, and now she was being served too. Molly said it was one of her best moments in years. She didn't want to go yet, enjoying the moment. Dr. Devlin looked at Banks. "If you did what I think, you won't work in Iowa or anywhere else if I can stop it." He then faced Lynn, figuring things out. "Tell me you're not that dumb, Lynn." Her head dropped, and as Molly walked out, she heard Devlin, "Lynn, better head home and wait till a union person talks to you." Sharp finally stopped his laugh and got serious. "So, Tyler, your wife got the news and she's almost home. Molly's friend is close by and ready. Get ready, son, this might be really rough. Stay calm, don't yell. If it's too much, just walk away or find another room. You've got this, Tyler. The hard part is almost done." We talked a bit more about what's next. It felt like Eli wanted to stay and help me face what was coming. When we finished, I heard Lynn's car. I thanked Sharp and said I'd update him later. Lynn walked in and found me outside. She looked sad and mad, tears probably all the way home. She started asking, "When did you know?" 3 long, hard weeks, Lynn. "How did you find out?" It doesn't really matter, but I came home early from a trip to surprise my wife. When I got here Friday morning, you weren't here. I checked my tracking app and saw you were near the airport. It all went bad from there. "The day you asked about the pen?" "Yes. You tricked me. You were setting me up." "Well, you know lies well since you've spun them into a craft with me. But yes, I did lie. My aim wasn't to trap you, but to see if my life was falling apart. It was—" She sat quiet for a bit. I wasn't keen on asking her anything. Now it was all in the open. I just wanted to sort this mess and leave her behind. After a pause, she spoke again. "I can't believe you had me cornered at work, in front of everyone. I was so embarrassed." "Join the crowd, Lynn." "That was mean, Ty. You don't leave much space for us to fix things." "Lynn, you'd know about being mean. What you did to me was the meanest. The whole time you were with Justin Banks, you kept hurting me, someone you claimed to love. But let's make this crystal clear. I don't want to fix things with you at all. I'm leaving you and not looking back. You're out of touch if you think after what you did, I'd want anything to do with you." She then sat far from me on the sofa. "But Ty, I do care for you. I get your point, but I didn't mean any harm. Justin was just a mistake. I know it was bad, and I should not have done it, but I think we can get past this as grown-ups and be better for it." "Lynn, you're making it hard to stay calm. You and Banks acting out those weird fantasies that should have been just between us. That's it for us. Any sane person could see that. Yep, I've seen the photos and videos of your meetups at that hotel. You can't be that naive to think playing the upset wife will make me overlook the deep hurt and pain you've caused in my life." "I can't believe you spied on me with Justin Ty. Why didn't you just talk to me when you found out? I could have ended it with him fast. You went too far." "Lynn, I shouldn't have had to spy. There should have been no secrets between us, especially cheating. Why would I talk to you now?" I can't trust anything you say ever again. Going too far is cheating on your loyal husband, Lynn. Look in the mirror and see if you can find the truth. I wasn't sure if my now foolish wife got any of what I said. She seemed to just look for an easy fix to slide past her betrayal. Each time she talked, more silly stuff came out. Ty, divorce is the last thing we need. We don't just live here, we work at the same hospital. What will people say? It will be so odd if we divorce, living and working in the same place. Plus, it would be embarrassing for us both if our work friends and others heard these things. Please, we can see how bad that would be for us. Lynn, living with embarrassment has been my life since that Friday morning I saw you and that guy leave the Hampton Inn, right after you lied to me on the phone about where you were and what you were doing. Divorce seems good to me now because people will look at you too when they hear about your cheating and messing around. I would ask if that guy Banks was your first and only affair, but I wouldn't believe whatever you say. I'm just glad we don't have kids. Thinking about having to parent with you makes me sick. Why would you want to stay married to someone you don't respect? Ty, what can I say to make you see Justin was just a bit of fun, a fling, that's all. No feelings, no love, just a silly mistake. So, Lynn, if you say it like that, let me tell you something. You must be the biggest liar and cheat ever. You lied to me for months, then passed on a sickness you got from someone else. And I should just say, okay, dear, no problem. Let's act like nothing's wrong and go back to happy times. Let me make it very clear, Lynn. I will never be with you again. I'm getting a divorce from you as soon as I can, even if I lose money. I'd rather live poor and alone than stay with you in a big house. The hurt I felt this last month was too much. Without my family and friends, I might not have made it. You caused me so much hurt, Lynn, but it didn't break me. I'm still here, and I'm going to move on, leaving you behind. I'm not sure she got the message, but she started to cry. I'm sorry, Ty, was all she could say before she went upstairs, maybe starting to understand what she had done and what she was about to lose. Sorry is not enough, Lynn, was all I could say back. 6 months later, we were done. We both didn't want the house, so it was sold, and we split what we got from it. Everything else was divided up pretty evenly, but I ended up better off when it came to money after the marriage, because the judge didn't give Lynn any extra. When her lawyer tried to argue, the judge shut it down. Miss Bannister, your client should count her lucky stars that the law ties my hands, forcing me to give her a 50-50th split. I'm Connie Silverton, Tyler Clinton's boss at the hospital. My husband Mike and I felt real sad for Tyler because of the bad stuff his mean wife did. The divorce was done, but there's a bit more to tell you. Tyler was really down for a while. His wife Lynn kept bothering him a lot and made the divorce tough. But Eli Sharp, his lawyer, was top-notch and helped Tyler through it all. Sure, Tyler lost a lot of money on all the legal stuff, but finally, he was free. Despite being talented and young, it took him more than 3 years to think about dating again. Yet, there's a girl from Cedar Bluffs who visits her Aunt Beth and seems to have caught Tyler's eye. At the hospital, people didn't want to be around Lindsay anymore. The married nurses stayed far from her. Some doctors who had bad manners, both taken and single, tried to flirt with her because of rumors. But after 6 months post-divorce, she quit. She moved to Denver, got a job at another hospital, and a year later married a surgeon on the rise. When some of our folks saw her at a meeting, she acted as if leaving Tyler made her life better, calling him her first loser husband. Even Tyler Banks felt the cold shoulder, even from doctors who were not so nice. Tyler was so well liked at the hospital that even those who usually didn't care about such things didn't want to be near him. After his training, he got just okay words said about him for job spots. Banks had to take a job at a small hospital in Frankfort, Kentucky, earning way less than he might have if he'd acted better. He also wed a pretty girl from the South, and from what we hear, they've been happy for 3 years now. That wraps up this catch-up, except for one last bit. Last night, my husband Mike, who used to be in the Army, asked Tyler to come over for dinner. It was a bit odd for him, but not too strange. We had some grilled meat and nice wine. After we ate, Mike wanted us in the living room by the big TV. Tyler and I were puzzled, but we went along. Mike stood straight like when he was in the Army and started speaking. Tyler and Connie, what happens tonight is just for us 3. Whatever we see will be gone after, and we'll never talk about it again. I knew this serious side of Mike and just nodded. Tyler saw me nod and agreed. Okay, Mike, your call. Tyler, nearly 4 years back, a very bad woman and a terrible man hurt someone very dear to us, like a younger brother to Connie and me. We've spent lots of time hoping for a way to make things right. You know, I've got lots of friends and contacts from my 24 years in the Army. I've done lots of favors and now I've asked for a few back. Please watch the screen. For the next 20 minutes, with our mouths open in shock, we watched 2 videos. The first showed Dr. and Mrs. James Thaddeus from Denver, Colorado. Mrs. Thaddeus, who used to be married to Tyler, was crying and yelling at her husband. Dr. Jim got up and left. Lindsay just cried and cried. Then she looked at a letter and read, "Being cheated on really hurts, doesn't it?" The next video showed Justin Banks outside his house in Kentucky. It was a quiet place with no other houses close by. His wife, tears running down her face, was holding pictures of Justin with a younger woman. As the camera moved back, 3 big men started walking toward Banks. One was dressed as a sheriff. "So you thought you could cheat on our sister and get away with it? After we're done, they won't be able to tell who you are," they said. Banks started to cry. Before the screen went black, you could hear, "By the way, Tyler Clinton's friend Colonial Silverton says hi." Then a beautiful young lady who looked like the woman in the video and pictures appeared. She just smiled and said, "All done." Hey audience, if you liked this video and want to keep up with more thrilling stories, make sure to subscribe to Prince Cheating Tales and hit the notification bell. You don't want to miss out on our upcoming adventures. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next wonderful story.